Next Level Conversation with Jeff Gabriel.
Yeah, but I mean, did they say that some of those people that had strokes or heart attacks survived while they were at home? They made it through, or they would die, or what?
Well, I don't, some of them uh, probably did die. And then, there was also, there was an uptick in, people who were dying at home during COVID in New York. There was a tremendous increase in people, and they would go in there and they would find these people. And then the question was, what did they die of? Now, they didn't get autopsies on everybody, so they don't know if they died of COVID or if they had an heart attack, which was, a complication of COVID. But the point is that a lot of people ignored other health problems,
Right.
and
But
so some of the people who,
there were a lot of people that passed away from COVID, but they contracted COVID, but they were also, as you were saying, had some serious preconditions that either they weren't dealing with, didn't know about, and died because of those preconditions, coupled with getting COVID at the same time.
right, right,
That's the great big debate, and I don't want to claim that I'm an expert and know what's going on, but because it's so emotional lately in the economy about should we go, should we stop, should we stay home, should we move forward, there's like, I would say a good 60% of the people out there are like, why are we doing what we're doing? And the other 40 are like, we need to stay home and we need to
yeah.
protect ourselves and we
I
need
think,
to.
it really varies. It varies.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. It
No.
varies a lot by geography. I was watching the news tonight, and they were interviewing some reporters from Kansas. And out there, even the Democrats in Kansas, are feel that the lockdown was not necessary. I guess they never had a spike the way we did on the East Coast, but they were mandated by the state to wear masks and to shut down, and the economy, of course, tanked like everywhere else. And
Right.
even though they're Democrats, they are opposed to all of that, and they're refusing to wear masks. Here it's different. And I'm in the city every weekend, and everybody wears a mask. I mean, I personally, I don't even think it's necessary to wear a mask when you go outside, and I don't. But everyone else is wearing a mask, and certainly indoors. You know?
No, listen, it's there's plenty of proof that it helps. Do you feel in Manhattan it's the crime is up and it's unsafe, or how do you feel? I mean, I've gone into New York once a week for the last 8 weeks, and it's a little bit sketchy in some places. I haven't really experienced anything bad, but my wife and I will go and we'll sit out in front of a restaurant outside. We'll make a reservation, whatever it may be, and we'll. I mean, I hate to say it, but we'll enjoy eating outside in Manhattan right now. And I think when you're talking about like the states in Kansas, red versus blue, it's obvious this is a very political showdown around the
Right.
virus. I'm not trying to sound like I know exactly what's going on. Everybody seems to feel that. Everybody seems to know that. And I think that really creates a very confused, exacerbated situation, emotionally with people because people are trying to get their lives back together, and it's a contradiction about what to do, what's right, what's wrong, with no
Right.
real leadership. Nobody's really telling anybody what to do anymore.
Yeah. Well, in New York, I've been going into the city every weekend. This is what I live in Jersey, during the week, and I, go to the city on weekends. And I started going back, early in this whole thing. A lot of, people thought I was crazy, but I never felt that afraid of, getting it and getting very sick. And life in the city, I would say, is, 80% back to normal now. My building is filled up. People, everyone's back. The combination of COVID and, BLM, when there were a lot of marches going on, and a lot of the looting and all that stuff. When those were some dark months, and on the weekends I was there and I witnessed a lot of protests every night, thousands and thousands of people on Fifth Avenue.
Thousands?
Thousands. Oh, I have videos that are shocking, and I saw altercations between the police and the protesters. I mean, right in front of my building, crazy stuff. And broke in windows in all of the stores, which were then boarded up for months. During that time, life was pretty different and a little bit scary in Manhattan. That's all gone. I mean, all the stores are open again. All the boards are gone.
Not all the stores are open. There are stores that are closed. There are a lot of restaurants that are closed down.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, in my immediate neighborhood, almost all the stores are functioning again. Oh yeah, and there's no doubt restaurants have been decimated. But things are definitely, moving towards normal. When I'm in
the city, it's definitely moving more so in the city. But the city, even during the day, is still the traffic and the movement. The retail traffic, the restaurant traffic's down almost 80-90%. The retail traffic's down, 70-80%, maybe more than that. I'd say the car traffic is down a half, at least still. And I'd say there's still 40% less people in the city. I know, most of a majority of the luxury residential buildings, they're 40% vacant. So it doesn't feel like.
I don't know those, the exact numbers. I know that in my building, which is a, pretty nice condo, most of the people are back in the buildings. It's definitely higher than 40%.
Well, you're not a rental building and you're not as transient. But I'm saying a lot of the transient people left, and a lot of people that had young families that were considering leaving. It was the mad exodus to go out and to buy toilet paper at the beginning, which was really cheapest. Now everybody felt like, what, I need to leave Manhattan and I need to get out of here. I need to go find a house outside the city because this place is going to turn into a dumping ground. So I actually think it's going to come back relatively quickly. A friend of mine sent me a picture the other day in Brooklyn, just outside of Manhattan. A new restaurant opened up.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people are going to take advantage of the new opportunity at leases and situations. And I think a lot of new restaurants are going to open up.
Yeah. In my neighborhood,
What?
I live near Union Square.
Right.
There's a new restaurant on almost every block. And,
Really?
we were just looking and I'm like, wow, these people have some cojones, to go out there and open up now. And, they just announced today that there's going to be indoor dining September 30th, 25%, which is not enough to sustain, the business, but at least it's a start.
Well, a bunch of restaurateurs in Manhattan, put together a lawsuit against the state. They said, open up the restaurants. Enough of this bullshit.
Yeah.
How are we going to police this? But they had so much pressure, they opened up at 25%. But that's a start. And I think as you get closer to the election time, we're talking about politicizing the virus. I think that as you get towards election time, more is going to open up. But I didn't know that you saw that as well, because I saw a new restaurant. I think that is an amazing thing to focus on, that there are individual entrepreneurs out there that are saying to themselves, I'm going to open up a new restaurant in the most horrific landscape, that Manhattan has seen in the last 50, 60 years. That's
maybe, yeah. I haven't spoken to anyone like that, and I'd be curious to know what their thoughts are.
They see an opportunity. They get a great deal. They get a great deal on a lease.
Right. Well, that's got to be it, because some of the restaurants that have closed were in prime areas and prime real estate, and I guess they otherwise would never have been available. There's a place called Blossom. It's a vegan restaurant chain, and they opened a spot on University Place near Union Square last week. It just opened up in a space that was previously occupied by a pretty successful restaurant, but obviously couldn't make it through COVID. And, you know, I was like, wow, this is great. You know, Blossom took that spot. And,
Well,